woke up this morning, girl, with you on my mind. I wanted to know if I could hold you, if that's okay tonight. Feeling devoted to give you all of my time. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome
You don't have to
to
call, girl, just come over.
another
Stay with me.
Roach Marino podcast,
Girl, I wanna love
number 14
you. Girl, I wanna hold you tight.
on panic attacks. Before we dive into the podcast, I just want to say hello. What do you do today? I woke up super early today to do my taxes, and when I'm over there to do my taxes, it was so packed, and I didn't make no appointment or anything, and they say they weren't taking any walk-ins. So I was like, what the fuck? Woke up early this morning for nothing, just to get denied. But life goes on. So I hope you guys been doing good. I just got done doing some Brazilian jiu-jitsu today with my gi. If you guys are wondering, I've been blue belt forever. It's time to get my purple now, so that is the reason why I'm starting jiu-jitsu again. And I also did Thai boxing today, Dutch kickboxing. That was hella fun. Got to roll around with some good guys, and got to spar a little bit. Not spar, but kind of go hard a little bit. And yeah, I got done, and I'm just cooking up some food right now, some beef curry, and waiting for that. But yeah, I hope you guys doing good, and let's dive in right into the podcast. So, panic attacks. I don't know how am I gonna tie in this today game, but hopefully you guys learn something from this, because if you guys did suffer or are suffering from panic attacks or some sort of anxiety attack, this can help you out if you really taking this advice, because I've been battling panic attacks my whole life, but lucky for me, I haven't had like a full-on attack almost a year ago now, because I found some tips that I've been using, and it's been doing me wonders. So, but before we get into that, I kind of want to tell you my backstory. I was probably 8th grade. I don't know how old I was. Maybe 10, maybe 13, 12, 13 was when I really felt like being anxious all the time. And I can still remember I was playing basketball for like this youth league. It was called Menihuni basketball, I think. If you guys don't know what is Menihuni, you guys can Google that tonight. MENEHUNE. Yeah, but I'm not gonna explain that. You guys can search that up. But yeah, I still could remember, like, before this game, this big, I don't know how big this basketball game was, but I could kind of feel like couple hours before the game, for some reason I felt anxious. Like, I would be sweating and my stomach would be turning. So and I was always gagging, and I was like, oh, what the hell is this? So I always thought I had to use the bathroom and do the D, but that wasn't the case. And I was like, Okay, that was weird. That was just a one-off thing, I thought. So during the week, I would go to basketball practice, just normal stuff, and I wouldn't feel anxious and anything like that. So, and then again, when came to game day, so every Saturday we had have a basketball game. So I thought it was just the one thing, and then um, but 2 hours before tip off again, then I would feel the same way again, same stuff over and over and over again. So I was like, okay, so this gotta be weird now. So I didn't tell my parents or anything like that. So the whole season it went on like that for maybe almost half of the year, and I fairly did good that season. I think I was the maybe third, fourth best player on the team. Funny is fucking eighth grade and you're already ranking yourself, but that's how it was back in Hawaii. It was very competitive. So um, yeah. So that whole season, I was kind of feeling, oh, okay, that was weird. So I didn't think of it that much. I thought it was just nerves or shit like that. But that was in my first year of playing basketball. I think up to that 10, I think that was my third season, and the seasons prior to that season, I didn't feel no anxiety or nothing like that in that nature. So time goes by. That was eighth grade, ended in eighth grade, and then I started I started doing some fucked up shit. So I started partying. Ending on my eighth grade year, beginning of freshman year, I started hanging around with some rebels, and I started smoking weed and some more other drugs and drinking a lot, and unfortunately I was still playing basketball, football and stuff. So I was on the team. So this time, before games and practices like that, I was always getting stoned out of my mind, so I couldn't really feel no anxious or anxiety. When I would do feel it, I would blame it on like the weed or something, or some other drug, and I was like, yeah, that's nothing. I'm high. That's why I feel like this. So yeah, I played basketball, fucking did all this shit, and um, I actually quit playing basketball because I wanted. The coach was fucking. Sorry for swearing, but yeah, the coach was kind of getting on my nerves. I believe a coach cannot give you confidence, but he can take your confidence away. So yeah, it's one of these coaches that took away your power, and you were like, "Fuck, what the hell is this?" So I played football my sophomore year, and I did good. And I remember the championship game. I went out with my friends and went into the mountains and started riding dirt bike, and we were racing, and I lost control, ate it, and busted my arm. So for that whole, I think we had 2 weeks to prepare for the championship game, and I missed the first week of practice because I was injured, and then the second week I was recovering, and I couldn't play because I was too injured, and I just watched the game from the sidelines and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my sophomore year. My freshman year, I quit playing basketball. So my junior year came along, and then that's when I was really hardcore into drugs and stuff. So, but I really wanted to graduate college. My parents was on me, and I kind of want to make them proud because I wanted to graduate. So I quit. I quit partying. I quit doing drugs. I quit smoking weed. All that shit. And then, after I quit, I felt kind of good. And a month after just being clean, I kind of felt fucking weird. I started having cold sweats at night, diarrheas, shivers. I was losing some weight. Um, my friends would tell me I would look pale, and my fucking, I would be shaking all the time, and I was like, bro, what the hell is going on? So I talked to some of my friends and counselors and shit like that, and they all told me that, yeah, you've just been partying a lot, you've been doing a lot of drugs, smoking weed, you're just going through withdrawals. So I was like, fuck, what the fuck is withdrawal? So, and then fucking I searched all the information about withdrawals, and I was like, yeah, all the symptoms that was withdrawals had, that's what I was going through. So I categorized it. I was going through withdrawal. So I was like, all right, withdrawal. So this withdrawal thing been going on every day for like my whole senior year of high school. So I was like, fuck, that's weird. How come I still have withdrawals? I've been clean for almost a year, man. I'm still having withdrawals and stuff. So I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't hide it. So I had to tell my mom and shit. So I told my mom what was going on and this and that, and fuck, I remember I had a girlfriend too, and we broke up because I couldn't deal with this shit, because I was going through so much shit. So but anyways, so I told my mom about it, and my mom took me to a psychologist, and psychologist was like, no, this is not withdrawals, you have some kind of fucking anxiety going on. So I was like, what? That caught me off guard. So I was going to therapy, psychologist, for like my whole senior year. Not my whole senior, maybe my senior, I'm not too sure. After, maybe. But anyways, yeah, I was going through all that, and yes, and then when I was going to therapy, I told my therapist all the shit I was going through, and she was like, no, that's not withdrawals, you have some kind of fucking mental disorder, or some shit like that. I'm sorry for swearing, but yeah. So she didn't say I had withdrawals or anything. Yeah, she said, yeah, if it was withdrawals, it would have been for like a week, couple weeks, a month at most. But what you're going through, from all the stuff you were telling me since I was a kid, yeah, you have something else, something bigger. So yeah, and during all this time, I had couple episodes where my heart started racing, and I could feel like I was gonna die. So I remember my dad rushing me to the ER, and then my dad was like, what the hell are you talking about, this and that, in Filipino though. And yeah, so I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor was like, no, you're completely fine. So that was one of the first times I had my first experience with panic attack, and that shit wasn't a good feeling. Thinking you're gonna die, or the world is coming upon you and shit. So yeah, anyway, so I told my therapist that, and she prescribed me Paxos, which is like an antidepressant pill, and I think I was on that for almost a year. It did help, but every time I would take it, I would just not do anything. I would just stay home because they're so potent that I couldn't do shit. It would make me so tired, so I couldn't move and stuff like that. So for a whole year, I just stayed home, not doing shit. I just told my mom, "Oh, go rent me some movies and stuff like that." I didn't even surf and stuff because I like surfing, and even that hold me back from doing things. So yeah, one year later, I kind of went off the medicine, and shit, that was kind of like a mistake because now every other day I would feel worse. My anxieties and stuff were just uncontrollable, and I kind of like lied to my parents. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm on the pill and still stuff like that, but I really wasn't doing it. So I kind of figure out a way to kind of keep my anxieties and my panic attacks in check. I went out with more with my friends. I started playing basketball again, surfing, dirt bikes, all that stuff. Went running. Um, started getting into MMA and stuff, and it helped. It didn't fully cure it, but it helped. So that was that, and then I think a year into it, I was kind of feeling good about myself and this and that. I'd be able to do all the things I wanted to do. So right when I turned 22, I think, or 23, me and my good friend now, he's back in Maui now, but me and him was 22. We were single at the time, so we kind of like wanted to get out of Hawaii because we were kind of just partying and stuff like that. So we moved to Oregon, Salem Kaiser, Oregon. We were 22, and I don't want to say it was a bad move, but it was a good experience because I grew up as a man. My work ethic now is better, but shit, I got a job there. I went to college there and stuff like that. But the weather was so shit that my depression came back. It was heavy. I mean, every other day I had some kind of anxiety or panic attack, and the only way at that time, because I didn't. There's no beaches there. There's no mountains to ride dirt bike, and kind of. I'm into snowboarding now, but snowboarding up there was kind of a hassle because we live so far, and it was a day's trip, so I couldn't really do nothing, and it was always be snowing, raining, and looking out my window is always gloomy and gray. So I was always depressed every day, and I was like, "Fuck." So for 3 years that was going on, and I just had all kind of uncontrollable panic attacks and stuff like that. And so I met one of my good friends there, and I kind of told him, fuck, man, this is the kind of shit I going through, kind of depressed, away from home and stuff. And he was like, no worries, man, come party with me. So that was kind of the way I dealt with my anxiety, just going out and party with him. And he was a Hawaiian dude. He was from the island of Molokai, but it was like it was a blessing at the same time because that's when I started doing night game. This guy was he taught me the ropes. He actually I don't know if he was a natural or what, but he kind of taught me how to do game there, night game. And big shout out to Bo. Yeah, Bo Farion, that's his name. And yeah, he taught me everything I know about night game actually, crazy pools and stuff like that. And yeah, so this is how I kind of dealt with my anxiety. And at the time when I was just out partying, I kind of didn't feel shit. But every morning I would wake up hangover and stuff. I'd feel the anxiety. Some days I had to call off sick because it was so bad. Maybe I was hungover and something, but yeah, that was that. So that went on for 3 years till I was like 25. and I'm 33 now, so that was a long time ago. And then me and my good friend, who's back home now, he's married, has kids. We had a falling out at that time, but I'm not gonna go through all that stuff. And yeah, we kind of went our separate ways for a while. He stayed up in Oregon, and I made my way down to LA. And LA was like, I got better. My anxieties wasn't coming back too much. Or I would still have episodes where I was like, what the hell is this? I thought, like Oregon, I would have it, every other day. And then moving down to LA, there was it wasn't too bad. I would get it probably once, twice a week, and that shit was scary. So I stayed in LA for a year. Didn't do much. I kind of went to LA more like for like a reset button, to see what I wanted to do. I remember calling my mom and be like, "Hey, you know what? This ain't working out. I want to come back home and stuff." And she said, "Yeah, come home." So I told her like I'll be home in a couple months. So all this time, all that time I told her I was coming home, I actually was looking for a job. I got back into school, but the school I wanted to go to was down here in San Diego. So I came down here, San Diego, after a year in LA, and I moved to LA, found a boarding house, not a boarding house. It was like a international housing downtown somewhere. Yeah, and then the first week I got here, I got a job, started school. And I remember my mom calling me like, "Hey, I thought you were coming home." And I was like, "No, I'm in San Diego now. I'm in school working." So she's like, "Okay." So yeah, and then I remember, yeah. So my panic attacks was just still the same as LA. Once, twice a week, I was having it, and that went on, and I think throughout school. So I graduated from college here. Sunday was 29. So then that's when I kind of found day game, and so I found day game, and at this time I was still having panic attacks. So I remember fucking every day game session I would have, I would be like, every morning I would wake up, and just thinking about day game, I would be like, triggered my anxieties and panic attacks. So every morning, before every session, I would have an attack, and I was like, oh fuck. The day game itself is already hard enough, but trying to deal with anxieties every morning because I was going to day game, it was real daunting. So I had to before even I get to approach a girl, I have to deal with panic attack, then have to deal with approach anxieties, and that was kind of a killer for me. It's hard work, and at this time when I was going through all this, and every time I would go out day game and I would see a girl, I kind of didn't know if it was a panic attack or anxiety or both at the same time. So I was like, so some guys who can just day game and don't have any panic attack and just have to deal with anxieties, I had to deal with both of them, panic attack and approach anxiety. So you guys have no excuses. You guys have to go out there and just put your balls on the line. But yeah, so and just so I had to deal with that for a while, and I had to deal with couple breakdowns, and I remember going out in the field and just hiding out and be like, man, I can't do this. Anxiety is too much. Both anxiety is too much. I'd rather just go eat something. There was so much days where I couldn't even approach because of my anxieties, both of them, and I would just end up walking around for like 1 hour, 2 hours, not approaching nobody, and I would just go eat somewhere, kind of to avoid that needing of approaching. So I hope this podcast makes sense. But and then just a year ago, I was just, I don't know, I had a big panic attack, and like a super big one. I think the worst of worst. I think for 2 weeks straight, every day I had a panic attack, some kind of panic attack, and I think it was called a panic disorder. So I think this was the lowest of the low. I don't know how it triggered it, but it got worse. So I went online and searched all over the place, and came up to this dude, Dr. Harry Berry, and he he helped me out a lot to overcome my panic attacks. I really I stuck to him because his way was just, if you want to say, the quote unquote natural way, where no meds, no nothing like that. He basically have three rules if you have a panic attack. He said if you feel a panic attack is coming over you, all you have to do is embrace it. Yeah, embrace it, because if you are about to have a panic attack and try find ways to get rid of it, it's gonna trigger the anxiety more, the attack more, because when you're feeling like this and you're trying to find ways to get rid of it, it's actually telling the panic attack that there is something really wrong, that you are in danger. So the more you try to fight it, the bigger it gets, and shit, and then your life is a mess. For the next 2-3 hours, you just be you'll just be in fucking you'll just be miserable. So he has this saying: if you feel a panic attack, step one is to call it out. Just say, like, look, panic attack is uncomfortable but not dangerous. It's uncomfortable but not dangerous. That is like the Holy Bible. So when you're about to get one, just tell that to yourself. It's uncomfortable but not dangerous. And number two is, you want to embrace it. You just tell yourself that don't move. Just stay there and tell yourself, okay, I feel it. I feel the anxiety coming. My toes and fingers, they're all tingling. Again, my heart's racing. I feel kind of weird. I feel like the world's gonna end, and shit like that. I'm about to die. Just embrace it. Tell yourself that. And the third step is called flooding, and the term flooding is just pretend you're stuck in a chair and you can't move. You're just tied down, and what you tell the attack to just hit you. Tell the attack to give you some more. I know it sounds weird, sounds scary to tell the panic attack to come on some more, because we want to do the opposite. But when you do it this way, actually, when you tell the panic attack to come on and hit you harder, it actually goes away. It's weird. I don't know why it works, but it works. I've been panic attack free for almost a year now, just by doing that. I mean, the first month was hard, and when you do this, do these 3 steps, it's you're just gonna be miserable for 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes, but it's just telling the attack, to come hit you, and it goes away. That's it. And yeah, so I've been doing this style for a while now, and it actually helps me out. I don't know why it works, but it just works. And I guess that kind of plays into how anxiety works too. Approach anxiety. Once I kind of um knew how to deal with panic attack, I kind of took that method and transferred over to a day game. Approach anxiety. Instead of like when you have anxiety, when you see that hot girl and you try to approach, we all try to find ways to get rid of the anxiety. And crazy, when you try find ways to get rid of the anxiety, the more the anxiety hits you. And but when we do have anxiety, or the spotlight effect, and you tell yourself, okay, I have anxiety, this is that, this is just part of the game, I just have to do a couple approaches and it'll be good. And once you do that method, your anxiety actually goes away. So yeah, that is my journey right now with panic attacks. I hope it helps you guys out. I don't know if I did a good enough job to tell you how to help you deal with it, but yeah, I'm gonna link some Dr. Harry Berry stuff, some Dr. Harry Berry video under this podcast description. But what time is it? Wow, it's actually 32 minutes. I've been talking to myself for 32 minutes. This is the longest podcast I ever recorded, and I'm pretty proud, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, practice those ways of dealing with panic attacks, and probably use those method with your day game. Yeah, sorry this wasn't like a pure day game podcast, but I kind of wanted to talk about this panic attack thing and how I dealt with it, and hopefully somebody can learn from this and get helped out. So Dr. Harry Berry, first step, when you feel the anxiety coming over, just tell yourself, it's uncomfortable but not dangerous. Step and number 2, embrace the symptoms. And number 3, just flood. Just tell it to hit you some more, and yeah. And of course, this is not gonna cure you in, like, first it's gonna take practice, but what this does, when you use this technique, it turns the tap lower. It lowers the tap every time, so the attack will just get less, and eventually it all turn off altogether. Yeah, so this is not a one time fix. It's gonna take practice, just like how other things in life is. But yeah, enough from me, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Alright, aloha.
And you can fly me to the moon. In other words, I wanna see you soon. Cause only you can make me feel this way, baby. Girl, I wanna love